Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about why becoming an amazing woman doesn't mean do more. If you're interested in a video like that, please keep watching. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about why becoming a great, amazing, incredible woman doesn't mean to do more. And I think a lot of people believe that this is the case. So I really want to talk about it because in my last video, we kind of dived into what it means being a woman versus doing, which is not being a woman or being in your feminine energy. I want to talk about that because I don't often hear a lot of people talk about this, honestly, the beingness of a woman. We often hear about the doing, the expression of being a woman. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video. You know, I got a lot of great feedback about that video. And honestly, I'm quite surprised because I did that video in the midst of the beingness of a woman. And I was feeling the emotions, I was feeling the actual physical beingness and the pain and the different emotions of the beingness of a woman. And I was really sitting in it. And I'm so glad that it resonated with other women. And I really want to dive deeper into this beingness of a woman because there is, and there's that sniff, often conversations around what it means to be a woman, and it often is geared to the doings of a woman, which is masculine energy. Let's be real. Doing and executing is masculine energy. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video, it really was prompted because I was actually watching a video. It actually was a podcast, but it was called The Rising of the Goddess. And it was being, what is it, like hosted by the guy? What is the word? The word is escaping me. But the guy was asking the questions to the women about, rising of the goddess and what does it mean to be a woman and, feminine energy and all this kind of stuff. And when he asked a question along the lines of, well, I understand the being of a woman, but like, what if a man comes into their circle and they want to compete for him? What is it that they need to do to be competitive in that space? And in that moment when he asked that question, it clicked. He will never understand the beingness of a woman. That question in itself, the perspective was coming from masculine energy, and that is not a wrong question to ask. I mean, he's a man and he's coming from a certain perspective, but it made me think they will never understand the beingness of a woman. Just the question alone made me realize, he doesn't understand, even though he's in a space where it's like very conscious and airy fairy and stuff like that, as people say. I like that kind of stuff. Well, people will say that it's pretty airy fairy, and so you would think that he would have more of an understanding of that perspective, but the question was like, oh, and he's supposed to be like high level conscious, right? Even as a man, even though he's coming still from a masculine energy perspective, you would think he would have a certain level of understanding. And it made me think, oh, he will never understand because he is not coming from the beingness of a woman. And I had several conversations because, going through my cycle last month was pretty intense. The different emotions that I was experiencing, the pains, the cramps, and just everything in its totality was pretty intense. And I was very emotional. I had a conversation with my husband, and I was telling him how it felt, like just the bleeding of it, and how it's very uncomfortable, and you can literally feel this coming from your body, and how it's hard to just kind of, I mean, we make it look good. I think women often make it, these things look good, like pregnancy. We make that stuff look easy. We make going through our menstrual cycle, we make it look easy. And for me, it's hard. You know, going through menopause, everything that we as women go through, we make it look easy. And so I think that the level of understanding from men is that it is easy, and it's not a big deal. It's not any of these things. And so when I was expressing to him how I felt and the different emotions, we go through these ups and downs. Even in the 28-day cycle, we go through neediness. Even in our cycle, when our body wants to be impregnated, we go through a neediness like phase of emotions. This is our biology. We go through these different phases and emotions because we're wanting to be impregnated. And even, you know, because if you're not pregnant and going through those things, you're going through a cycle. And if you're not, you're going through menopause, and you're going through something, some phase of the beingness of a woman. I tried to explain to him, you know, I was trying to explain to him so he could understand, how it felt. And I said, you know, it's almost as if like you were bleeding for like 4 to 5 days, your arm was bleeding, and we were just like, put some bandages on it and go to work and take these bandages with you and change them out as, you know, like that. And I don't think that he fully understood how it feels. But he also said, I will never understand, which I guess I needed to hear that. I'll never understand what you go through, just like you'll never understand what I go through. And he's right. He will never understand how it feels because he will never have to go through the things we go through and the beingness of being a woman. Feminine energy is beingness. Feminine energy is beingness, it's not doing. And so when he phrased the question and a doing, what do you need to do? And this can often be this can be linked to the question that men often in the manosphere will say, like, what do you bring to the table? What are you doing? It's a level of not understanding the beingness of a woman. So when we think about feminine energy is our subconscious mind, right? And more the masculine energy when it comes to the being in alignment with ourselves is the conscious mind, which is the doing, the thinking, the logical, right? Feminine energy is in our body. It is the being. Now, if we think about what are the functions of the subconscious mind, it's our breathing, it's our like bodily functions that we don't have to think to do. Like breathing. Let's take breathing for instance. You breathe. It's something that you don't have to think about. You breathe. Now, and that breathing is a function of the subconscious mind. It keeps you alive. It is prana. It is energy. It gives you life, right? But you don't have to think about it. It is controlled by the subconscious mind. However, if you wanted to, you can, in your awareness of breathing, you could control that subconscious function. You can become aware of your breathing and control your breathing. But the point of this is that it is the beingness. So when we are creative, like when we get impregnated and we create life, We are not thinking, okay, now I must create the baby's eyeball right now. Now I must create the baby's leg right now. We don't have to think about those things. But in our beingness of feminine energy, in our beingness, it is being created. We don't have to think about it. We go through these things in our beingness. We are, experiencing pregnancy and all of the things that go along with pregnancy in our beingness and creating life, but we're not thinking or doing anything. We are just being. We are being in our feminine energy, and in that beingness, we are creating life. We are experiencing these things through the beingness of being a woman, being in our feminine energy. This is the beingness of a woman that we don't often talk about. We're always talking about what is often the expression of feminine energy. So, in our beingness, we can be sane, controlled, have mastery of ourselves. And in that, we express it in our outer world. So just like I was saying with the breathing, we are not thinking of breathing. It is just something that is controlled by the subconscious mind that we are doing. But if we become aware of it, become aware of our breathing, we can control it. And so oftentimes when we, the expression could be a clean house, nurturing, and these kind of things. We nurture through food oftentimes. So the cooking is often a woman task, right? The cleaning of the house is a manifestation and expression of controlled feminine energy, not chaotic. It is controlled feminine energy, and it is expression in our environment that it's clean, neat, and organized. Because if we don't have control of that feminine energy, it is often manifested, expressed as mess, chaos, and all of these things. But that is an expression of the beingness of a woman. The things that we go through in our beingness, the 28-day cycle, the emotional, the ups and downs, the depression, the sadness, the happiness, the energy, the different phases of our cycle is the beingness of a woman. The different phases of pregnancy is the beingness of women. All of these things are the beingness of women. And what a lot of times is expressed is the beingness of being a woman. It is expressed in creativity and a beautiful decorated home, or a clean and organized home, a home that expresses and tantalizes the senses. I think I said that right, but tantalizes the senses because it smells good, it has candles lit, and these kind of things. Has nice, soft fabrics, different textures in the house. These are expressions of the beingness of a woman. And it is a beautiful expression when it's contained by masculine energy. And the containment and safety and the provision of masculine energy, right? So I wanted to share that. I wanted to go a little deeper with the beingness of a woman. I think it's important that we don't get wrapped up in the doings. Now, a man is going to recognize the doings. His perspective is doing because he is doing. Masculine energy is doing and execution. And so when they communicate and converse about these kind of things, of course they're going to communicate in that way. That's what they understand. That's what they understand. And when that man asked that question, that's what just clicked for me. I'm like, of course he's going to frame it in this way because that's what he understands. He is coming from his perspective. And I think it's really important for us as women to express and honor our beingness, but also, communicate to our masculine energy counterparts, our partners, about this so they understand. We understand the doings. It's easy to see. It's easy to quantify. It's easy to, see it in the execution. The beingness is a little hard. It's a little more difficult to see. This is going a little like being real. This is being a little real here. So I said to my husband, I think if you actually saw me bleed, that you would have a different perspective and understanding of what I'm going through in the beingness of a woman. Because think about this. We have so much shame around periods. We have, after you have a baby, you bleed for a while. And we have so much shame. We have so much shame around these things. And so we hide it. We can't say that we don't like to tell people that that's what we're going through. And I remember growing up, it's like, it was embarrassing. No one should know what I'm going through and this kind of thing. I never told anybody, even though I was hurting, sometimes on the bathroom floor, hurting so bad, right? It was a lot of shame around that. You have to hide the fact. And then if you had an accident and it went through your pants or whatever, people would make fun of you and things like that, as if it's not a natural thing. There was a lot of shame around it. And so we hide it. We act like we're not going through things, even though we're experiencing a whole lot of pain. We're experiencing all of these things, but we hide it. And we do it well. I remember, when I had my daughter, I was still in college. I had her Friday or Saturday. And on Monday, I returned back to school because I was interning. So I was working for the federal government and I was in college. So I was still bleeding. I had a newborn. And on Monday, I returned back to school because they weren't going to. My teacher told me, she's like, you chose this, so you need to, shut up and color, as she was pretty much saying. I remember being very emotional, sitting there in class and just really knowing that I should have been with my baby at that time, sitting in class and getting really emotional. And the beingness of a woman was that thinking of my daughter, my breast would fill up with milk and get engorged. Because that's part of I didn't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. But me being the woman that I am, my breast would just naturally fill up. And with the thought of my daughter, my little baby, with a thought. So it's not that I'm being the mom, I'm being the woman. And my breast would just fill up with milk. And that's part of the beingness of a woman. It's amazing. It's incredible. But that's part of it. I'm not having to do anything. I'm being, and my body is being that. My body is being that in which I need to be, right? We create life. which is amazing. We are the holders of life. Like, this is amazing. Like, being a woman, I always felt like was such an incredible gift. It's such an honor. I don't have to go and execute and get the milk. I am the milk. I am the resource. I am the nurturing. That's part of my being. And so I wanted to talk about the doing versus the being, and how men perceive things and how we perceive things. And, you know, oftentimes we get caught up in this, well, what are you going to do? My husband said that to me a few times, and he hasn't said it again. But, you know, and it's not to their fault or anything. That's masculine energy. They understand doing, execution, thinking. They're very logical, and that's needed. And so I honor that in my partner, even though it can be annoying at times. But I do honor that in my partner because that's what I need. That's what I need. Becoming a great woman doesn't require you to do more. But becoming a great, amazing, incredible woman does not require you to do more. And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that. And I hope this was crystal clear on being. Like, it's you. You are it. So when we talk about worthiness, you know, we talk about worthiness, and we often feel like we have to earn worth. We have to achieve. We have to earn it. We have to earn love. We have to do these things. But if you realize what you are it. You are it. You are it. Like, I'm about to start preaching up in here, but you are it. And like, when, like, even in the example of like my baby, right? I am it. I am the nurturing. I am the food. I am the nourishment. I am it. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go out and earn, achieve, and, you know, do all these things to make me look competitive or better than or less than or anything. I am it. And that's why I'm worthy. I'm it. Okay. That's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe. I do videos on feminine energy, manifestation, spirituality, all that jazz. So if you like that kind of thing, I think you'll like it here. So definitely subscribe, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.